Hi, this is Michael Spokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. We are speaking about the price that pastors need to pay in order to grow their churches. A price that pastors pay to grow their churches. And the first one that I want to speak about today that you need to pay as a price is to become a leader, not only a shepherd. Because sometimes we become shepherds and we continue being shepherds and we forget that we need to become leaders. And therefore, it is actually stagnating the church to just remain on a level of being a shepherd and not becoming a pastor. Now, Exodus chapter 1, chapter 13, if you look at verse 17, Exodus chapter 13, verse 17, look at it. You'll see exactly what we're speaking about in the sense of becoming a leader, not only a shepherd. Now, a shepherd does all the work alone. And I've said this earlier that you need to share the ministry. You need to make sure that you share the load, you share the work, because the shepherd does everything on their own. Then the sheep just follow. Now, the shepherd does everything for the sheep. The shepherd does everything and on their own for the sheep, but the sheep doesn't do much. So that is actually a problem that we have outlined earlier, that you need as a pastor to make sure that you become a leader. And a leader then becomes an example in doing things. A leader becomes somebody who walk ahead and people follow. A leader inspires the people to do as well. A leader allocate tasks to the people and supervise them doing that and encourage them to make them aware that they are improving or they are not improving. And so, therefore, a leader, therefore, becomes very crucial and very important. And I want to urge you right now, as a pastor, that if you are to see your ministry growing, make sure that you pay a price of making sure that you become a leader, not just only a shepherd. Very, very important. Now, praying, you don't just pray alone. And also, when you do that, and you don't pull them along with you in prayer for them to grow. And sometimes pastors pray and pray for their congregants, they pray for themselves, and they go to mountains and pray and fast alone. They don't pull the church along. Remember Jesus' ministry? He was taking the disciples along when he was going to the mountain to pray. And that's very key, very important as well, because it helps that congregation to know how to pray themselves. They learn how to pray because they've seen their leader praying and they follow him by praying. And even when he was not there anymore, when he has ascended to heaven, he's not there. They know that prayer is important because they've seen it through him. So it is very, very important. So a shepherd does all the work alone, and praying alone, visiting alone, counseling, naming and caring, and all this load they do alone. But I must emphasize that it is very important that as a leader then walk ahead of the people, but pull them along, take them along in the journey, and make sure that they are part of what you're doing. A leader delegates their workers, they delegate the work to capable people, of course. You don't just delegate to people, but make sure that you look for capable people. Delegate to people that can make it. Delegate to people that can do it, because you don't just delegate to people. As I've said earlier, that when you want to teach the people and shape their skills and talents, make them participate in what is happening and make them to be part of it. But as you delegate, it must be capable people. Because when you delegate people that are not capable, you are actually killing them. You're actually discouraging them, because the more they fail, the more they are discouraged as well. And that is why I say delegate capable people and well-trained associates as well. So in other words, you must actually train the people first before you delegate them with work. Make sure that they know what to do and also specify exactly what you expect from them. Because based on that, they will be able to do the things that they expected to do, knowing that they're doing it right. And the more they do right, the more they get encouraged as well to continue doing even tomorrow. Now, if the church will grow, focus on the measure and leave the minor others. And this is very important, whereby those that are really participating, make sure that you do train them, you do shape them up, And you make sure that also you help them to focus on major things in the church, not the minor things. So that's very important that you embark on that and make sure that you empower the people to be able to know what to do and when. Finally, I want to speak about the Holy Spirit at work. You must actually make sure that if you want your ministry to grow, that you pay a price to make sure that the Holy Spirit is at work in your ministry. And that's a price to pay. It's not easy. 2 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 13, exactly that. It actually embarks on exactly the issue that you must allow the Holy Spirit to be at work. Now, pay the price to see the Holy Spirit at work in the miracles, in the signs, and in the wonders in the church. So that is hard work. And that is something that you're going to need to sacrifice. And to make sure that you sacrifice time in fasting, in prayer, and in living the right life, and all these things that you are impacting the church, you need to make sure that you pay a price so that you can start seeing the miracles and the signs and the wonders in the church. It's not just going to come cheap. It needs actually sacrifice. It needs somebody to pay a price for that. Very, very important. One solid miracle is better than 10,000 sermons. So therefore, make sure that you do expose your people to miracles. But that is going to be something that you need to pay a price for. Because it is actually going to encourage your people. It's going to make them know that this God that they're serving, He is able and He will actually come up for them. And that's very, very important. And so please make sure that you pay the price. You make sure that you embark much more on the progress and success of the church, and make sure that things happen in the church in a great way. God must come down to save His people. Let's make sure that we preach the gospel, which is a hard work as well. We must take the gospel out there. We must pray for the people and make an effort to pray for the people for the healing as well. So we cannot just watch and not make effort in going to preach the gospel, because that's the only way that people are going to be saved and come and become children of God. And if we don't lay hands to the people, are you going to expect people to be healed? No. Are you going to expect people to be delivered? No. Liberate the people in every service. And that's very important, that you liberate the people, not only in laying hands of the people, but to liberate the people through